In general, I think our advice to the league would be just put all of your stuff behind Ja right now. I think you have a moment here with him where you could really blow him up in a real way. And I know he's big already, but there's a whole other level for him to go.
I think Ja Morant can become that guy. I think it's still Steph, it's still LeBron, it's still KD, but definitely Ja Morant is a future face of the league.
So, Sel, can Ja Morant be the face of the league?
Yes, he can, and yes, he will become.
Who will be the dominant player of the 2020s? So, Luka, Steph,
Ja
Durant.
Morant. Ja Morant.
If you would have asked any media member about 3 years ago who was going to be the face of the NBA in the near future, well, I just showed you. Most people were thinking Ja Morant. Ja, around this time, he just felt like he had the NBA completely in his hands. And to me, he always felt like the modern version of Allen Iverson. I mean, the mixture of the flash he played with, the dunks he had, the shit he talked, how Memphis stood behind him, it just felt like it was something special brewing for a while. I remember around that time, Allen Iverson posted this picture with his MVP, and at that time, it felt legit. But now, everything just feels off. I'm not even just talking about the extremely odd firing of Taylor Jenkins. That's its own issue, and that aside, I'm mainly talking about the fact that Memphis, they've been hovering around the second seed all year, yet still, even with how deep they are, nobody seems to take them that serious because we don't really know exactly what's up with their best player, Ja. If you simply look at Ja's injury report for this year alone, it literally looks like somebody that shouldn't even be playing basketball right now. In his specific draft, Zion has always been the low-hanging fruit to shame because of his lack of availability. It's easy to attribute Zion's to his weight because, well, we quite literally can see it and play doctor. Well, Ja Morant was in that exact same draft class too, and I promise you he hasn't really been the healthiest either. Since Ja's been drafted, Ja's played the 5th most games on Memphis. In the last 2 years, Zion Williamson has actually played double the amount of games than Ja. Even if you account the 25-game suspension, it's still a significant gap. Today's video is sponsored by SeatGeek. The NBA playoffs, they're right around the corner as we only have a few more regular season games left to watch. And if you want a chance to see your favorite players in the games that actually matters most, well, my friends over at SeatGeek, they have the perfect deal for you. Everyone can use my promo code Swishout15 and get 15% off of your next order, whether you're new or not. Yes, it's basketball mania, but this doesn't just apply to basketball. This can be festivals, concerts, really you name it. SeatGeek literally does all the hard work for you as they grade their own tickets on a scale to 1 to 10. The greener the dots indicates you getting the best bang for your buck. The yellow, orange, red ones, you should probably consider some different seats. Also, all of their tickets are backed by their buyer's guarantee, so you can feel secure when getting your spot. Everyone can use my promo code SWISHOUT15 and get 15% off of their next order. Take advantage of this deal right now because this is for a limited time only.
Who do you look at around the league as you're studying and say, we're going to have to run through them?
Celtics.
No one in the West.
Nah, I'm fine in the West. I don't respect no one until they come and give me 40.
The Los Angeles Lakers will advance by virtue of a 125-85 win. D'Angelo Russell is smiling again.
I swear it feels like ever since this one video, everything just went downhill for Memphis's championship window. Taylor Jenkins, he just had the weirdest firing you would ever see, especially given the timing. And by the reports, it sounds like Ja Morant wasn't the biggest fan of the new style of offense Memphis ran. Now, I'm not implying that Ja got him fired or anything like that. We literally don't know. But we do know this. Ja is used to having the ball, and honestly, he's mainly effective in the half-court setting when he has the ball, dictating the whole offense. Even if you look at his best 2 seasons, he was top 4 in usage percentile in those 2 years. This year specifically, the Grizz ran a much more pass-centric offense with a much heavier emphasis on 3-point shooting. Now, with all due respect to Ja, as the franchise player, I get it. That just makes sense. First of all, Ja isn't even there enough to be the focal point of any offense right now. And second, Ja hasn't really developed this game, and I mean at all. Now, I give him grace because I know he's playing through injuries, and even earlier this month, he said he probably shouldn't even have been out there. But it's hard to actually watch a lot of Ja in primetime games, so I made sure I watched that Lakers game. And it felt like I watched this play, and then this play, and then this play multiple times. And what's the common theme? Ja Morant always ends up on the floor. When you watch that game, all of this makes perfect sense. If you look at Ja Morant's best season, 2022, Ja as a point guard led the NBA in points in the paint. That's a very abnormal stat. Very commendable, and it's actually a testament to how great of a driver and a finisher Ja Morant actually is. But it's not a real sustainable stat for a dude that's 6'3", 180 pounds soaking wet. Look at that season compared to everybody else he's around. Everybody else is bigs. Look at that season compared to Russell Westbrook in his prime. Even Russ, with how ferocious we know he wasn't even that reliant on those in the paint points like Ja back then. Even if we add in the players that Ja Morant is normally compared to, Derrick Rose, Allen Iverson, Russell Westbrook, whoever, it still quite wasn't like this in their best years. Ja back then, he was very much used to pick and rolls where he was able to navigate screens and choose whether he wanted to create contact, hit his little floater, kick it to an open shooter, throw a lob to Brandon Clark, and that's kind of how he ate. If you look at Ja Morant's pick and roll possessions back then, Ja was top 3, and a good amount of his dominance came from that style. Now look at it now, he's 28th. I'm not quite sure why Ja doesn't like the offense, but if any new offense quite literally limits what I did best in my prime, I would be frustrated too, so it makes sense. But going back to that 2022 season and why they were abnormally great without Ja, to me, it was because they still played great defensively and they had much better spacing. In the games in which Ja didn't play, and mind you, it was a 25-game sample size, the Grizz would have led the league in three-point percentile. I'm not even saying Memphis was a better team without Ja, because they clearly have a much higher ceiling when he's there. His clutch factor and the big shots he always makes clearly makes a significant difference in that team. But even back then, it was just odd to see how well they played without their best player. They had a plus 300 point differential without Ja. I genuinely believe that's the style they prefer, and they wanted to incorporate their best player into that style. A little less Ja and a lot more ball movement and team success. We've kind of seen the exact same thing with the Cleveland Cavaliers and Donovan Mitchell. The last time we seen Ja in the playoffs, he got injured. And even if you look at that one specific play, it's a great example of the 2025 Memphis Grizzlies and why they've probably changed their approach. Everybody sit back and watch Ja while he runs a pick and roll and decides what this possession is going to look like. This was kind of the half-court offense. Then he jumps extremely high into the air and then takes an extremely dangerous fall. I compare it to a run-first quarterback. It's fun when it works, but it's just not sustainable. Now, Ja Morant did come back this year and said he wasn't going to dunk. And we still see stuff like this, which I didn't mind. 3 years ago, we seen a list of the top 25 players under 25. And literally the only 2 players above Ja Morant was Luka and Jason Tatum. Now look closely at this list now, and you tell me where Ja ranks amongst these exact same players.
No one in the West.
Nah, I'm fine in the West.
When I say Ja fell for a dangerous trap, I think it's mainly his own success. It's definitely not as bad as a Ben Simmons and possibly even a Zion, but it is similar. Imagine somebody telling you to change or adjust your style, and in your second season, you had the success you had and you were doing stuff like this in the playoffs. Bro, I get it. I just made a video about Shea. Prior to this year, in the past 2 seasons, he was still averaging a very efficient 30, basically not even being able to shoot a 3. But literally look at the level he's been able to reach this year, just adding to his game slightly. This year, he's nearly made 60 more 3-pointers than last year, where he could have won MVP. In the last 2 years, and mind you, I'm only making this comparison because Shea, he wasn't the best outside shooter as well. But he had 12 40-point plus games in those 2 years combined, and he averaged 30 for those 2 years. This year, he has 12 in this one single season. My point is, you see the difference in levels certain players reach when they evolve their game, and that's what I think Ja has to do. To me, it's literally impossible to stay healthy with that specific style, especially at that frame. If you guys like this video, let me know in the comment section how exactly you feel about this topic. I just wish Ja was healthy a little bit more, bro. The NBA is so much better when he is healthy, but he's just rarely healthy. Let me know in the comment section how you feel. Follow my social media sites. Do that great stuff, guys. And until next time, as always, stay tuned.